Yes, brother.
Yo, you good?
Yes, how are you?
I'm alive, bro.
You're alive?
That's all that matters right now, is
Yeah,
being
that's...
alive.
How's the situation in Dubai?
They've released a lockdown, so it's not like as crazy. All restaurants are open and that, but at like 30%. So
So,
it's not too bad.
is everything's kind of coming back to normal slowly? But no.
Nah, it'll still take a while.
Well, it's better than over here, though. Like, over
Yeah,
here, no one even knows, man. No one knows.
scary times, bro.
It's crazy how this has never happened to anyone. Like, this whole generation. It's like we're
It's
all in the
history.
same boat. It's history,
It's
yeah.
history, bro.
It's a history
Our
essay.
kids will be learning about this in history. This will be
It's a history essay.
a exam paper.
But bro, how
Yeah.
you been during quarantine anyway? Like, what's been happening with you?
Good. I've probably never used YouTube as much as I have. I've literally like done tutorials on everything, bro. I don't know I don't think there's any more tutorials I can learn. I know how to use Premiere Pro now,
Yeah.
Ableton, OBS streaming, all sorts, boy. So
you've been learning different things now.
Yeah, I think it's best to just use this time wisely. So yeah, man.
So for people kind of joining, big up Charlsey for doing this. Like, it's a big thing for me as well. So yeah, we're gonna get into like a short interview discussion on your career and everything. So how did DJing kind of start for you?
Probably from my brother. Well, from my brother who's older than me. He had decks in the house, in the bedroom. He was never allowed. I was never allowed to go on them, and then started going on them whilst he was out. And then he kind of come back, caught me one time, and then just taught me pretty much everything I know now. And
Okay.
I was probably about 14 at the time.
So what's the journey since then? From 14, you've gone to international. So what's the journey? What's the journey been?
I don't know. How can I start from when I'm 14? We'll be here for hours, bro. We'll be here for a long time. Like when I was 14 onwards, obviously it weren't a job, it weren't anything then. Left school and then just started putting on parties in like, I think I was probably about 17 at the time. And I started putting on these parties for 16 to 18-year-olds at these dodgy places where people can drink. So then I was like,
bar spins.
yeah, and then there was probably about 200 to 300 people coming to these parties every month.
Yeah.
And then there was a club up the road from where I live at the time it was called Purple E3. And then they just saw what was going on because I was taken away from their parties and then brought me in to play like the last hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then it was like I ended up going into the club as a promotions manager, running my own parties in there every week, and then just that's where the DJing kind of started from.
So from then on, what was like your first proper like big gigs for you?
I don't know. I don't know, the biggest gigs around them times. I was playing all around the Essex and London scene, but not like West End, just like local clubs. So there was like all day parties I used to play at that were like 1,000 people at times. And I was probably, about 18, 19 at the time. So to me, they were like, that was the main time. That was the biggest thing at the time for me then. And then as it got bigger and bigger, I was like on support tours. So like a close family friend of mine, Twinbee, who's on One Extra, and that. He used to take me around when he was doing loads of like support tours. And I'd play like 15, 20 minutes, like on the N-Dubs tour, Tinted Stride, like all of them type of tours. And then from then, it just kind of got bigger.
So how did you get into Capital Extra? Like, what was the move from there to getting into radio?
That was probably a good 5 to 6 years later. And that happened in a weird way, to be honest. Like, I think I just played at Wireless Festival. So like, I was DJing in between all the acts. And then a guy come up to me and he's just like asked for my details and I didn't think anything of it. And then the next day I get a message saying, I'm putting together the new roster for Capital Extra. We've just taken over from Choice and would love you to be on it. And I was like, nah, I didn't believe it. It was just a random guy who came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then literally a month later, I'm up in the Capital offices doing demos, trialing out. Like, I'd never done radio before that, in the sense like a commercial radio. I used to go on pirate radio a lot, but I'd never used the mic, so my presenting skills were just not there at all. And then, yeah, that 4 months later, I had my own show on Capital Extra.
Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Was that ever a thing for you, like when you were started DJing, to get onto these radio shows, or is it always kind of been for you?
No,
like clubs,
it
festivals?
was always like, especially after being with Tinie for that long, it was always the next step. And I'm glad it kind of happened naturally instead of me kind of chasing it.
Yeah.
And it's just mad because the thing I was worried about was the talking on radio. Like if I listen back to my old first demo I did for Capital Extra, I'm literally shouting like, it's DJ Charlsey, text it, like proper shouting. And I don't even know how they got me on from that. And then I look at like my recent One Extra shows and stuff like that, and it's nothing like it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can talk about this, but why the move from One Extra? I mean, from Capital Extra to One Extra.
Yeah, I just felt like it was kind of the end of my time at Capital Extra. It weren't like a thing where I was going from Capital Extra to One Extra. I had actually left Capital Extra.
Okay.
And then One Extra had seen that I've left, and then they came knocking on the door after that. I was super busy at the time, literally playing Thursday, Friday, Saturdays every week, all round. And I wasn't able to do any of my shows live.
Yeah.
So it was like, I just felt like it was the right time to kind of give it up.
So going with Tinie, how did that all start? How did you guys meet? How did everything start for you with that?
The Tinie thing's a bit of a mad one, because it goes back to with Twin B on these support tours and stuff like that. And there was one tour that Tinie was supporting on, which was the N-Dubs tour. And Twin was DJing like in between all the acts and stuff like that. So I went along with him. And then one time Tinie's DJ didn't turn up.
Yeah.
So they were like, can you just jump in and DJ for Tinie? This is like way before pass out time. And then next thing, I ended up finishing the whole tour with Tinie. And then the rest is history, boy. 12 years later.
The rest is that's, you're traveling around the world doing the shows.
Been around the world and back twice, boy. It's madness.
So I was going to say, like, what's your favorite Tinie song? What's your favorite?
Tinie song?
Yeah.
It's got to be Pass Out, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's the one song in any set, anywhere around the world, even if it weren't a big hit. It's the one that people just go mad to. I
remember, like, I don't know, when did it come out? 2000?
It was 10 years this year, so yeah.
So 2010. Yeah, so I remember coming down the stairs, like watching MTV, and like I just switched it on. I was just flicking through the channels, and then Pass Out came on, and I was like, nah, this is a tune. And no one knew about this song, right? Like none of my family, none of my friends knew about this song. I was just listening to it. Like I got it on iTunes, and then like I started playing it. My friends were listening to it. They were like, "Oh, this is actually a tune." And then after a while, bang,
Yeah, people like kind of look at the situation as if it just happened overnight.
Yeah.
But like we had done 2 tours before Pass Out got big. We was like traveling up and down the country crazy, and then Tinie just had all the hits ready to go straight after that, bro.
Yeah. So what's your favorite album that he's put out?
It's got to be the first one, man. It's a classic. Discovery's like.
Discovery, yeah.
Yeah, every song that was on the album. I think it's more sentimental to me because we toured it 3 times. We had done so much on the album. Like America, we was basically based in America for 8 months off that album.
Wow.
So yeah, every song on there I think was a smash.
So what's been the highlight of your career so far?
I think One Extra's up there.
Yeah.
I think like just landing a show on One Extra, especially where like I was going in that building just to sit in on people's shows, just to see how it all works. Like when I was 18, there was even a point when I was 15, I think I was at the time, and there was this like scheme where you can go and do a radio course, and like at the end of it, you got to be on legal radio for a week, and that's the only time it was on. So then I was with another guy, and we completed the whole course, did our show on the radio, and we got a call from a guy called Crispin, who was like, "Oh, we want you to come for the open day for one extra." And I'm 15 at the time.
Okay.
And the only reason why we didn't get on there was because we was too young. And now, like, the same guy is still there at one extra and remembers the whole situation. So, like,
so
I think me going back 16 years on and having my own show on there, I think was a big thing. Probably the highlight.
So Martin said, was it hard leaving the show?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make in my life. Like, because it's just in case people don't know, I'm in Dubai now, living in Dubai, and I had to give up the show for me to come to Dubai.
Yeah.
And everything was going smooth with it, everything was fine, and even now it's like I still look back. I know it's the right decision, but it was just a hard decision. And I think what's made it easier is knowing that Jeremiah Asiama is the guy that's kind of taken over the show.
Favorite UK show with Tinie, favorite show abroad with Tinie?
Favorite UK show with Tinie would probably be V Festival 2014, I think it was, main stage. Favorite show abroad with Tinie, it's probably, it's not abroad, but it's abroad. Any show that we've ever done in Ireland and Scotland, bro. Easily.
Has that been the crowd? Like, the crowd has been...
Yeah, they're just nuts. And even to a certain extent, Australia Festival run is probably my favourite with Tinie.
So you joined Disturbing London. Like, how did you kind of make it where it is now? Have you helped Tinie with that as well, or has he been your mentor in that sense, or? So
me being a part of Disturbing London so obviously I'm managed by Disturbing London.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, I kind of created the events arm of Disturbing London. So all the Disturbing events is off the back of me. And like, obviously, if it wasn't for Tinie, it wouldn't have happened at all. Like, to this day, probably Disturbing wouldn't be as big as what it is if it wasn't for Tinie. So we've all definitely got to thank Tinie for that. But yeah, in terms of like all the events, from Ibiza to Dubai, it's all just come off the back of me running the Disturbing events.
Is there a favourite city you've DJ'd in?
As in me personally, or
yeah,
with
you
Tinie?
Personally.
Barcelona, I think.
Barcelona, okay.
Yeah, I think Choco. I'm gutted. I had like 3 or 4 bookings there this summer, and it's not happening. But I'd say that's up there. I can't say Ibiza because it's second home, but yeah, Barcelona.
I thought you were gonna say White. To be honest.
I'm not gonna say them places just because I'm there so much. So it's like, I probably look forward to going to Barcelona to play at Choco every year.
What makes it the best club for you?
Just the vibe. Like, I can play certain places around the world, and like Martin was saying earlier, like, you kind of have to do your research to make sure you know what's popping and what's hot in that country or city. Like, you go Choco and you play whatever you want, and it just goes off. And especially, I think, with Barcelona, where there's so many, in the summer, a lot of UK people go. It's a good balance between UK and Spanish people. And then I know what to play to the Spanish people because I'm in IB for pretty much the whole summer. And then, obviously, I know what to play for the UK. And when they're both seeing each other bounce off the crowds, like, there's no better feeling. And I don't think you get that many other places.
Someone said, are you back in IB for this year? And if so, think it will happen?
I was meant to be back in IB for this year. And if it does happen, then yeah, I'll definitely be back in IB for. But who knows what's going to happen with IB.
So you think the move to Dubai was like the right thing for you?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's a lot here, a lot of opportunities. The group I work with are probably the best group in Dubai. Well, are the best group in Dubai.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing at, to me, what is the best club in the world. Like, well, best outdoor club. I'm going to say Ushuaia is up there with the best club in Dubai. Yeah, one of the best clubs in the world. So, yeah, I think it's definitely a good move. And I get to work with all the artists. I get to work with artists.
There's so many artists who come to White.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mads goes, how do UK and Dubai clubs compare?
It depends. If you're saying UK clubs in terms of like West End circuit clubs, they're not far off each other. There's probably more money being spent in the Dubai clubs, which means more champagne shows and a lot more interruption. But the experience of Dubai and the view of, like, say, White or just the production and stuff like that is next level compared to the UK. But the fact that it's the UK and I'm from the UK, I'll always love UK clubs. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So what makes your set unique? So is it more about the hosting for you? Is it more about genre?
It depends where I am, to be honest. Like, some bookings I'll go and play in countries where they're not going to understand me too tough on the mic. So I wouldn't go too crazy. So I wouldn't say mic is probably, but I don't know. I'd never go into any club booking the same and treat it the same. Like, I can play in, especially White. I played a warm-up probably more times than I played the main set. So it's like, I'm treating every booking completely different.
What's your favorite set? I mean, obviously a lot of people would like to have prime time, but have you got a specific set that you'd prefer to get?
I'd play warm-up all day long, man. Like, especially if you've got a warm-up set when the club's semi-busy, and you can play what you want, and then you see the actual reaction, what people like. I love that, man. I think main sets, especially in kind of more the urban world, they're all kind of sounding a lot the same. If you were to say to me a garage main set, all day long. But in terms of hip hop and R&B and that, I'd prefer the older stuff to play.
What's people saying? If people can put like their questions in the question box, so it's easier. If you were an up and coming DJ now, how would you go about progressing during the coronavirus?
If you're up and coming DJ now and this coronavirus is happening, I'd personally say it's probably the best time to learn. You've got 1,000,001 live streams, so you can see DJs firsthand how they DJ. You can watch them and just practice. You're not going to get more practice hours than this. And then you just have to learn off the back of that and get ready to take it to a club.
Have you DJ'd at Carnival before?
A couple times. I've done a couple years in a row. I did Shy FX's stage, which was good. I was supposed to play on the One Extra Float last year, but didn't make that. But other than that, it's just the Shy FX stuff I've done. I've done a lot of the after parties more.
Mm-hmm. So
but I see today Carnival's not happening, right?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I saw that. What's your kind of take on that for the next up and coming years? Like, do you feel like they're gonna use that as an excuse?
Nah, it'll be back. It's too much of a big thing. Yeah, it has to be back, man.
It's culture. It's part of like British culture kind of thing.
Exactly.
for the black people as well. Any tips about improving on the mic?
I think just be you. Imagine yourself listening to yourself in a weird way. I don't know if that sounds right, but like if I'm on the mic, just make sure that you're saying what you would want to hear. And if you're not portraying the energy that would make you dance, then it's not going to make anyone else dance or interact with you.
Mm-hmm. Have you got a specific? So I've met you twice now at F1.
Yeah.
So have you got a specific F1 show, F1 year that you favored like the most?
I don't know if it was. No, it's probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Tiny was out there at the same time, and it was the closing night, and there's a video. I need to even repost it, to be honest, where we're on the table just partying, and it's like Lewis Hamilton to my right, Tiny's there, Trey Songz, Kevin Hart's there. Everyone's just on the same table just partying, and it's like that would never happen anywhere in the world apart from F1 in Abu Dhabi.
That's probably the best. Yeah, that's the best F1 to be at.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever DJ'd at any other F1s, or has it always been Abu Dhabi for you?
Monaco I've done, and Australia in Melbourne.
Okay. How do you find the Monaco
one? Monaco to me is like, it's good, but it's just too bougie. There's way too much money in Monaco, bro.
But do you not see that with Abu Dhabi though?
Yeah, but you can go to a club and it's like still a bit looser. Like Monaco is straight. You walk around and it's just money. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Weirdest place you've played at?
Don't even know, you know. There's been bookings where I've played and like some of them are not even clubs. It shouldn't even operate as a club. And then it'd just be one random guy who's got money to book a DJ and then just make you go and pay. But yeah, I've not really played at too many weird places. I try not to.
Let's get a couple more questions. Yeah. So, do you have any tips for radio DJs how to get comfortable?
It depends. Like I honestly don't think there's enough radio DJs that mix and like very specialist. I think it was a big thing back in the day, but now it's not because of the DJs. I think it's because of the stations. But I think it's just about being just using it as your practice hours. Like I use radio to play what I like because I play a lot of places around the world where I couldn't necessarily play what I like, not what I like, but what I wanted to hear. I had to more play what the crowd wanted to hear. So I think radio is that outlet to just play what you like. So I think the only way to get comfortable is play exactly what you like. Do you know what I mean?
Have you had any like embarrassing moments on stage with Tinie? Any like mess ups with the DJ set or anything?
No, touch wood, to this day there's not been no mess ups.
Really? No mess ups at all?
There's been times when I've been drunk and I've like hit the wrong track or stopped the track or anything. That's probably the worst it gets in terms of DJing for Tinie. But there's been a time like I fell over on stage, and that's probably the worst thing.
Favorite house scene event?
I gotta say Love Juice. They're my guys. Love Juice is a party kind of from Essex that's starting to take over the world, doing a festival this summer hopefully. Yeah, that's probably my favourite. Other than that, I think Ants is up there. Ants, which is at Ushuaia on a Saturday. There's no better experience than what they do there. That's like, production-wise, the DJs, the level is just next level. No one's doing that.
So someone said, what's your favourite sport? Do you play any sport?
My favourite sport probably to watch is football, which I don't play great at. But I'm starting to play a lot of golf. So
okay. So that's because you live near a golf course, right?
Yeah, so I think golf is the one. Maybe I'm just saying
that's gonna be your thing after DJing.
Not a thing to think I'm gonna be like a pro at it, but it's definitely gonna be something I'm gonna play for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what's your favourite Disturbing London event you've done?
Hard Rock pool parties 6 years ago now. Easily my favourite. It was the first Disturbing event that we did. Started as just like a small idea. We literally booked no artists. It was just Tinie every week, and it wasn't even a performance. It was like just DJing.
Yeah.
We didn't know how it was going to come out, and then we was getting 3,000 people a week.
Wow.
Like, even to this day, I've been to many pool parties. There's nothing that's been like that.
So you wouldn't put Ushuaia past Hard Rock?
Nah. Like, anyone that's been to Ushuaia Disturbing parties or has been to Hard Rock Disturbing parties, they will all say the same thing. Like, Ushuaia is sick, but the Hard Rock pool parties were next level.
So so you've done like Summertime Ball, Capital Summertime Ball. You've done loads of like wireless. What's been your favorite festival you've done?
I gotta say Glastonbury for the experience. Like, there's no better feeling to like step out on the stage, main stage at Glastonbury, and just looking out and not seeing the end.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's for anyone to experience that is nuts. Like, you literally look out into the crowd and it's just like a sea of people that never ends. You know, if you're at a beach and you don't even know where the water finishes.
Yeah.
Like, it's exactly like that. I think that's probably the best experience to date, but I wouldn't say it was a favourite show.
How do you deal with the nerves? Like, do you get nervous at all, or do you just kind of, you know what you're doing?
At the start, I was only really nervous about being on the mic. Because pre-Tinie, like, I'd never picked up a mic.
Yeah.
And then as it got on, I got more comfortable. But, like, I wear contact lenses. And before that, probably like 7 or 8 years ago, I was not wearing contact lenses, but I would wear glasses on and off.
Yeah.
So I was only really seeing past the crowd like 5 to 10 rows in. So then I weren't nervous because I weren't seeing the whole crowd. As soon as I got contact lenses and I looked out into the crowd and I could see everyone's individual faces, there was a bit of nerves, but you get through that. And I used to drink a lot anyway.
So that's what gets you through.
Yeah.
Hip hop R&B places in Ibiza.
It's got to be Soul City. Policies running things in Soul City always. That's probably the best. I think in terms of party wise, gonna have to go with my hip hop party I do there. that I've done for the last 2 years on a Monday, and that's in High. And if anyone's been High, like, it's easily one of the best clubs in the world as well. And to have hip hop at such a high level in such a big club, I think was a big thing for Ibiza.
Who's your favorite artist you've seen live? Probably apart from Tinie.
Bruno Mars by far. Like, he's the complete. There's no one to me that is better live than Bruno Mars in terms of production, stage presence, his band, just from top to bottom, he's the best.
What is it about him, do you think? Is it just like his performance? Like, there's not many people who can touch him with that.
It is, like, I'm heavy into production, so like a lot of Tinie shows, I would kind of come up with the production ideas and put them in place. So going to a Bruno Mars show and you see, like, me looking at Bruno Mars's show, but not looking at Bruno Mars, which is now when I go to a show, that's how I look at things. Like, I find I have to go to shows like twice sometimes just to actually take in the artist and then take in the actual show. And the effort levels in Bruno Mars's show is like, what they put into that, and especially how much it costs, is ridiculous. And how tight it is as well is a big thing.
What's a big goal for you?
I'd like to tour again, kind of on my own.
I was literally just going to ask that as well, yeah.
Like, around the world, though, I'd like to do my own tour in clubs around the world. And then probably, like, do a theatre tour in the UK in the long run. Like, my own kind of, not in the venue, not in the club, but, like, in the concert venue. I think that's probably the end goal. But without making music. I think that's a big factor of what I want to do.
Have you wanted to go down the production scene as well? Or?
I've always said to myself from the start, I wanted to kind of get to where I'm getting to without making music. And there's always times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah.
And then something else will just come and pick back up again. So it's like, I'm the type of person as well. If I don't put my all into it, I can't just do something half-hearted. You get what I mean?
What's the best advice for applying for radio shows such as Capital Extra?
Record pilots yourself. Listen back to them. If you feel like they're good, then submit it. If you don't feel like it's good, just keep going until you're happy with listening to it yourself, and get other people to listen to your pilots as well. Because at the end of the day, you're only on radio for other people. So if you can record a pilot and people like it, then I'm sure other people will.
I was going to ask, like, is there any kind of apprenticeships for that, or anything you can get onto radio, or any?
I'm not actually too sure, you know, but I'm sure there will be. Like, even back in the day when I was telling you about me doing the course, that's kind of what got me into it. So that was over 16 years ago. So I'm pretty sure there'll be more of that now.
So someone said, how comes it moved from hard rock to Ushuaia?
Because we kind of outgrew hard rock. We had a capacity of 2,500, which we didn't think we was going to get anywhere near. Then we upped it to 3,000, which was way too big, but it was a killer, so we just did it. And obviously, Hard Rock Hotel is more of a family hotel. So on a Tuesday when we was doing our pool party, on the other side of the hotel, there's kids with their families. When there's this whole carnage going on within the hotel, so it's like. But I think what kind of topped it was there was one time someone had a room and they've gone into their room, but they've just seen these two people having sex on the guy's bed
Oh my God.
From that moment, the hotel were like, nah, we don't want this party.
We don't want it, yeah.
Yeah.
What's
And
the cap? What's the cap in Ushuaia?
7,000, 8,000.
Wow. Okay. And
Yeah,
you're properly packing that one as well.
yeah, it was busy. It was hard. It was a lot harder, and it was obviously when we first moved from Hard Rock to Ushuaia, people were expecting a pool party. So the first couple of weeks at Ushuaia, people were coming like it was a pool party, but obviously it wasn't. So it was like starting again.
Okay. Yeah. What do you do to relax?
Family, man. It's just family time. Whenever I want to relax, I got my wife and my 2 kids. It's just chilling with them. Can't get more relaxing than that.
So you're doing another event. Who's on your DJ lineup and who's on your artist lineup?
If I'm doing another event,
yeah.
DJ wise, gotta say Jeremiah Siamu. Probably to me one of the youngest, freshest, best DJs out there at the minute. GT Continental GT. After what he's done with Instagram Live, he's straight on there. Artist wise, Young Bane. He's just dropped a new tape, which is fresh. Definitely Young Bane. Yeah, I think that'd be it for the start of it.
So you wouldn't have like a big group of DJs or big group of artists. You'll just keep it kind of small, simple.
Like even all the events I do, I try and keep it. I wouldn't say safe, but just I like to be able to have the conversation with the DJ and them talk to me, so we know we're on the same page. Like, so I always try and keep the circle small on the lineups of DJs. I'd prefer them to play like 2 hours or 3 hours, knowing that they're going to deliver what's right for the party.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of important for events, and I think that's what's always done the disturbing events quite good.
So, which DJs have you inspired on your? Oh, sorry, which DJs have inspired you on your journey, and you work with them?
EZ's got to be up there. EZ is up there. EZ is my inspiration. Yeah, from when I was at the club Purple E3, he would be the first person I book. Like, I knew I wasn't going to make money, but I'd book him right up until like the second year in Ushuaia. Took a lot, but managed to get EZ to have a residency for us. And that to me was like probably another highlight as well. Just being on the lineup with EZ for 15 parties, playing just before him. Like,
that must feel like crazy to just play, you know, you're playing before EZ, like, you must feel like, wow.
Yeah, of course. And even the opening party was quite selfish, but I did a lineup that was just for me. So I had like DJ EZ, Jazzy Jeff, and DJ Craze, all on the same lineup. And to me, they're 3 of the best DJs that are out there.
Oh, sorry, I'm pinning the question. Sorry. Let's see what other. See, the questions are just gonna cover your face. That's the thing. So if you could start all over again, what would you do? Anything would you do anything differently?
Nah. I couldn't really think about starting again. I wouldn't want to. I think it's probably a lot harder now than what it was back then.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask as well. Like, do you think, obviously technology is advanced and it's easier for a DJ to pick up a deck and, you know, get started on that, but do you think it's actually harder than it is back then to pave the way for themselves? Or
I just think there's a lot more DJs now. Like, as much as like back then, music weren't as accessible. It was vinyl only. You had to go to the record shop to do it. Now, like, the person next door can wake up and become a DJ. Like, in a matter of minutes, they can download music. They can go to the shop and buy a controller or whatever. Even just doing it on your laptop, and then you can learn and you're a DJ.
Definitely.
So I just think, like, back then, that weren't the case, and I think it was easier to shine than what it is now. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Do you also think that DJs who are quite high up in the industry kind of envy the newer DJs who are coming up because of the help of social media and help of the radio and stuff like that? Because there's a lot of young people who are coming up now, and they might feel like, oh, well, I couldn't have done that 20 years ago, but now, if I started now, I could have done that.
Nah, I don't know. Like, I definitely don't feel like that. Like, and I don't know whether that's because I come from the promoter side as well. So I'm always on the lookout for these younger DJs. But like, I champion young DJs, man. I want there to be more young DJs, good
Yeah,
DJs.
definitely.
And I think there's loads at the minute. So like the other DJs that are older envying, I don't see how you can. Like, if you're already a big DJ, really, what these young DJs are doing, you should just add that to what you're doing, and you'll become even bigger. Like, that's how I look at things.
Definitely. What other do you look at any female DJs, and what female DJs are you rating at the moment?
One of my favorite female DJs at the minute is probably Soraya. She's bad. I think I'm doing a live stream thing with her on a platform tomorrow. I didn't even know until 10 minutes ago. And then, yeah, at the minute, I think she's fresh. She played for me last year in Ibiza as well, and she smashed it. And even that is like, when I'm talking about like warm-ups and stuff like that, I like to be able to book DJs that won't they don't even care about what time they play. They're just happy to be on the lineup, and they're going to smash whatever they do. And she played the warm-up 11 till 1 or something. And by 12 o'clock, there was like over 1,000 people in the club anyway. But she completely smashed it. She didn't touch nothing new. She done everything like that a warm-up DJ should, and more.
Yeah.
And
What's your take on that? Like, warm-up DJs not playing their part. Do you kind of get involved, and you go like, well, hold up, like, you got to stop here, or do you just kind of reset the whole night when you jump on?
If I'm going on after warm-up DJ that's played a lot of like the main stuff, that doesn't bother me. It bothers me to a point where it's not right for the night. But as a DJ, it doesn't bother me, because I know I can draw for more things that will still hype the crowd up. Do you get what I mean? And then even to the point where, like, I to a certain level, I don't feel like warm-up DJs should be on the mic, or there should be a host around that time. So even if they've played the big tunes and then I then come on, and I'm on the mic and I'm playing bangers that are different to them, it kind of elevates it. But I think there should always be thought in a warm-up DJ. Like, it's one of the hardest sets to play.
Definitely. I feel like, but also if you do it right, as you said, like, the other DJs will respect you highly as well, and the crowd definitely will respect you.
Definitely.
So I was just gonna ask, what is it? Yeah. So with the radio scene, are you looking to go into radio in Dubai? Like with Kenrick's, what he's on the radio.
Yeah, he's smashing it. Yeah, definitely. But it just has to be right for me. Like, I think you can do radio. I'm not saying you can do radio anywhere, but going into radio in certain territories, like radio in Dubai operates completely different. Like, it is more presenter-led. It's not so much about the music than what it is. So I think if I'm going to get into radio, it has to be right. Like, ideally, I'd probably want to just do something that can just be old school vibes on like an old school station or something like that, more than playing what they want you to play.
Have you had any problems with other artists, DJing for other artists, or playing a song that there's an artist beef or anything and you have to lock it off, or?
Yeah, but it weren't like, not a big thing. It just was playing at after party for an event, played someone's track, and then whoever that person had beef with, I'm not saying no names, they came to the DJ booth and was like, you need to switch that.
What's your take on that though? Because I feel like it's not our problem in that sense. Like, if the crowd's enjoying it, but would you kind of respect it and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna touch that?
Well, at that time in that situation, I was able to say like, no, I'm not changing it, because it was an after party for my own event. Yeah. So you can't, like, you wouldn't exactly be able to come to my event, to a disturbing event, and dictate what's being played. And the person was like, yeah, cool. But other than that situation, I've not been in it, so I wouldn't even know. I would try not to, but some of these beefs are real, boy.
Yeah, true. How do you kind of deal with like bookings where they give you specific genres to play? Like, do you kind of turn those down, or do you think it's a good learning curve for you to learn into those genres?
I've never been in that position. Like, the only situations I've been in sometimes is two situations. If I'm playing on a lineup that's got artists on it and I can't play their music,
Yeah.
that's different. Or I'm playing before a DJ, so like, I don't know, for example, EZ, in so many words without them saying it to you, you can't play no garage, you can't play the bait hits and stuff like that. So I've not been in a position where clubs said, look, you can't play this. And I know it happens, and it happens everywhere, but I don't know how that can happen. It doesn't make sense to me.
So what's your kind of take on like the UK, US drill scene? Like, who do you think's learning from who kind of thing, or who do you think's thriving at the moment? What artists as well?
Well, it's a UK sounding sound, isn't it? Like, so the US that are doing it, they're doing it because it's off the US, off the UK. But there's a lot of sounds that have come from the UK that the US are doing, and vice versa. So I don't think it's a thing. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of drill, so I wouldn't be able to give my full opinion on it. But like every sound is worldwide, and anyone can do the sound. But you know what is the original sound and where it's come from. I think that's the most important thing.
Pop Smoke is still popular, yeah. Like Pop Smoke, he went so quick. Like that death was crazy. Like he blew up in 6 months?
Yeah,
under 6 months, and he still had a lot. Like I was gutted because I was supposed to go to his tour as well this year, but
I had him booked in Dubai.
Wow.
So it's like,
Wow.
it's all mad after that. But even like someone like Pop Smoke, him doing drill or the drill sound, all it's done is made it more aware around the world. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Definitely. Is there a song that what's your kind of go-to song at specific time? If you got one, let's say like the crowd's popping at 1 o'clock. If you got a specific song,
depends where I am.
Okay, let's say it's a Disturbing London event, and like you already kind of know your crowd.
Well, you could draw for any tiny song, you know, Disturbing London. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say like in White in Dubai. There's a few kind of big hits you could just draw, because White's it's quite an open crowd. Like every week is completely different. You don't know who's there. Yeah. There can be a time when there's more French people in. There can be a time when there's more English or whatever. But then you just got like the big hip hop tunes will always just bring anything back. Like before this whole lockdown thing, obviously Roddy Ricch was the guy in the club. So any Roddy Ricch song was just going off and bringing everything back.
How many years have you done Dubai for?
DJing back and forth in Dubai 8 years now, I reckon. 7 or 8 years, but being at White, it's been 5 years. And I literally only play at their venues. So I'll only play at White, Dre's, and then the beach clubs. I've not played anywhere else.
Have you DJed in Dre's in Vegas?
No, I've never DJed in Dre's in Vegas. Would you want to go there? Yeah, I had my visa ready to go.
Oh,
this was last year. And I had an American visa to do a whole tour, but then the Ibiza thing happened, so I couldn't leave to go to America. But yeah.
Have you done any other states or cities in America, or have you not gone
only
there?
With Tinie? I've not really done my own thing in America. That's definitely up there what I want to do. And with the Dre's connection in Dubai, I'm sure I'll be able to do that soon. America, I've done everywhere with Tinie.
Is there a specific toy room you prefer, or do you prefer Dubai toy room or London?
I've never played in the UK toy room.
You never played UK toy room?
No, I've only played Dubai toy room, and I've done one show with Tinie in the old toy room, the small one. But yeah, I've only played the Dubai one. Like really, like in London, I've only really played. My residencies have been Libertine and Scandal. I've not really played anywhere else. Like I've not even played tape.
What's your kind of take on like the bottles spends and everything? Like, do you think clubbing has gone to now, like the dynamic of clubbing has gone to that now, which is more like bottle spend, like your tables, blah blah blah, or do you think that's only certain clubs, but there's still elements where people just want to go out and party?
Yeah, definitely. But you've got to think, like, if you're going to a West End club where they're popping bottles, you know what you're going for. You know what it's about. So it's like, even in Dubai, it's very bottle-led. But then there's clubs next door to it that you can go to and no one's popping any champagne, but you can still get the vibe. So I just think it's down to where you want to go and how you want to go. Me playing at them places, Like, I don't think it's ever great, but all you can say is if people are spending money and popping bottles, the club's got money to pay the DJ.
Yeah,
innit?
yeah.
I'm happy to go there for that and play there for that.
Do you need visas to play in other countries?
It depends. Like America, yeah, needed a visa, which wasn't easy to get. Literally took me like a year to get my visa, and then didn't even really use it. And then certain other places, if you get booked, they, like as part of my rider, they would have to provide the visa, and it's down to them.
Mm-hmm. What's on your rider? Like, what drinks you have?
It changes probably every couple of years
Every
as I get
couple
older.
years.
Or every year as I get older, my taste bud to alcohol change. Now it's gin.
Now it's gin.
I have a lot of gin in my rider.
So you're not like the rum type or whiskey type?
Nah, I started with brandy, then vodka, and now I'm on gin.
Oh, I can't be doing gin, man. I guess you mess. I love what's that stage performance you do with Tinie? Everybody say hell yeah.
Yeah, we've literally done that probably for the last 10 years. I think we need to switch that up. I'm not gonna lie.
Just switch it up. Is there an artist that you're aware of that Tinie wants to work with in the future, or is he kind of work with most of the people he wants to do a song with?
I'm not too sure, you know. Like, I know I can't really say too much because he's got loads of music coming out and some big collabs. But yeah, thing with Tinie, if he wants to work with someone, most times he's able to work with them. So you never know what's coming, boy.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. I don't know if you'll answer it, but who do you prefer, old Tinie or new Tinie?
I like old Tinie. I like new Tinie. The mid Tinie is musically was still good, but
yeah,
I like, when I think about Tinie, I think about being on stage with Tinie. So like the mid Tinie, where he was like, the songs were great, but not necessarily the ones that would be in the set, is where it kind of goes over my head sometimes. Like the new stuff that's coming is straight ready for the stage.
Best way to get a season in INAP or Ibiza?
Go there. Literally. INAPA, go with the confidence, knowing that you can smash anything you're going to do, know what the audience is like there, and just go there and just commit to it. Like, I did it in Malia when I was 19, I think, and I just went there with them days a record box, which I didn't realise flying with a record box was good. I paid more for the record box than I did for the flight. But yeah, just go with the confidence. Like, I think that's the most important thing, and just be there.
So what's your favorite song apart from Pass Out? Is it Miami to Ibiza? What's the song for you? And what song actually pops more? Like, obviously Pass Out's there, but what song as well gets everyone going?
Written in the Stars is up there, just purely because how much of a smash it was. Like, if it weren't for Written in the Stars, there's no way we would have did 8 months in America at the time. Like, the tune went to top 10 in America. So, like, that is a song anywhere we have ever been, whether it's a place that would only just book Tinie for one song or 2 songs, that would just go off and everyone sings it. Like, you go to a place that don't even speak English and they'll just sing it.
What about Frisky? Yeah, Frisky's a tune. Yeah,
it's a big tune, but even when you think about it, like, I put all the sets together for Tinie shows.
Yeah.
And like, Frisky's not even in it now because of how many hits there are. But it's a hit. So it's and then you've got, like, we're at a stage now where we can do a 40 to 45 minute set of just dance tunes of Tinie's.
So have you keeping up with NS 10 versus 10?
I've only recently started looking at it, to be fair. Since the WizKid and Vibes Cartel one, I kind of been looking at it, but yeah, they're too much. They're too controversial.
Have you clashed DJs yourself?
Yeah, friendly, like not nothing too big. There's a sick garage brunch I play at, which is literally called Garage Brunch, and every time I play, it's kind of a clash.
Yeah.
Like the first one, especially like I'm not known as a garage DJ, but it's definitely the music that I like more than anything because it's what I started with. So like all of the DJs from garage I look up to and respect. So going to do this garage bunch, the first one I was up against Wookie, and it was like I'm just Charlsey, the garage legend Wookie, and then I go and beat him at this garage bunch.
Wow.
And then the next one was against Lex Beats, who's sick, and then I beat him. And then the last one I played was against DJ Lonyo, who again is a garage legend, but we drew. So there's meant to be a rematch, but obviously I'm in Dubai, so we're gonna have to.
What's been your biggest like money pull up or tip on a song or anything?
As in how much?
Yeah.
It all depends, man. I'm in Dubai, bro. Remember, like there's one aside from Dubai. I played in Romania, which is sick to play in, to be fair. And there was I can't remember what the club was called, but I basically had a hat on, and it was just any random hat. It didn't even mean nothing to me. And a guy was at the front just begging me for my hat. I was like, no, like I'm not giving up my hat. Like especially with the hairline going as well. There's no way I'm giving up my hat. And then he's kept coming back and forth. Next thing he comes back and he's handing over a €500 note for my hat. And I was with my wife. My wife was there with me, and she was like, "Just give him your hat." And I was like, "Give him my hat and took the €500, boy." So it's not really a money pull up, but I made money in that club.
Bro,
but yeah, Dubai, they do it, man. Like you can literally, someone will come and just say, play this song, and then just slip you money.
Bro, how's your schedule? Because the live's gonna cut in a minute. Do you wanna come back for a little bit longer, or?
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Come back.
Cool. Cheers. Right, yeah, big up everyone joining. Yes, let's get it going. You know what? Hour goes quick. I can't lie to you. Hour goes quick. Yeah, we're opening the club doors. Right. Big up Jay in the building. Phone, I see you. Okay, right, let's get him back. Cool, bro. You know what? Hour goes quick. I can't lie to you.
I didn't even realize it was an hour, boy.
So there was a question that are there any downsides on tour?
Sleep and travel, especially like going from place to place with no sleep isn't the one, especially when you got to be 100% every time.
Yeah.
Like that's probably one of the hardest things that I've kind of had to deal with. Other than that, like I do it all day long.
We got Rusky. Rusky, like I need to thank you for this. Like I need to thank Rusky so much for this. Like he, you know, I was saying like before quarantine, there would be never in a million years I'd think this would even happen, or even my like project that I'm doing would even happen. So yeah, I've got to thank you for that.
Yeah, but that's what quarantine's for, bro. You got to use this time wisely.
Definitely.
That's one thing I'd say to anyone. Don't come out of this quarantine without something. Otherwise, it's just been a waste of free time.
Yeah. So, yeah. So if anyone wants to ask any questions, like just put it in the questions box. But also, where do you see yourself in the next kind of 5 years? What's the plan for you?
Kind of just pushing Dubai as much as I can, doing different things in Dubai. Definitely in the next couple of years, I think is important. Like breaking boundaries and just trying new things, because Dubai is quite a machine, and they like kind of what works they just stick with. And I've always been that type of person to kind of test the boundaries and try and take it to the next level. So I think my next thing is definitely just trying to crack Dubai.
Do you think you'll ever move back to London or UK, or do you think you're just going to stay in Dubai?
No time soon. I'm thinking of coming back, but it's a 6-7 hour flight, And
Yeah, yeah.
before I moved to Dubai, I was flying to Dubai every week for 2 nights. Back and forth, so.
Emirates should start sponsoring you, man. Like, what's going on? Like,
Imagine.
every time I'm seeing,
like,
you know, like flight here, flight there.
Yeah. The way I'm looking at me living in Dubai is purely because I was playing here so much. So
Yeah.
if I was playing in England as much as that, I could easily fly back and forth. It's not a problem for me. Like, but definitely a better way of living.
Do you prefer Abu Dhabi or Dubai?
Dubai. To live in. When I
Okay, well, clubs, mad, because like Mad Club, like that's a different club there.
Mad is sick. Mad is a sick club.
Yeah.
And the vibe wise, like, you can be a bit more free and Mad. Like, I can go there and play, say, a quarter of my set UK, and they'll like it, and it goes off. In Dubai, it's probably not as easy to do that. Well, not in the places I play at anyway. Like, there's places in Dubai that you can go and hear UK all night.
Do you think Dubai is more diverse than London, or do you think London's more diverse in terms of like music culture and culture?
It's diverse, but it's still very commercial. Like, when I say commercial, I don't mean the pop hits. Yeah. I'm saying it's kind of got to be the bangers. If you go too deep, it's really easy to lose the crowd in Dubai.
It must be quite, I mean, not hard, well, because you've done it now for a while, you know exactly what to play, but it must be quite difficult to read the crowd in Dubai because there's so many different, like, cultures coming together under one roof kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying about, like, the warm-up sets and stuff like that. If I'm playing in Dubai and I'm playing the main set, I need to go early because I need to see what the crowd's like. Because you can't, there's no way you can judge it. And yes, the brand is the brand, but people, especially people on holiday, a lot of them want to just go to white because it's white. So it's not easy to please the whole crowd. So you just got to be able to be versatile and play for what you think is right. And just believe in it more than anything.
Have you had any problems with promoters or club managers, like being paid or DJing or anything like that?
Not really, because most of my bookings come through my agent. So he will kind of take on making sure I get paid. So that's never really been a worry for me. Promoter wise, I feel like the problem comes if you're the problem. And like me being a promoter myself, I wouldn't even think about treating a promoter the way that some people do, or even that I've been treated like as a promoter. So I literally go in, I'm probably like the easiest person. Sometimes I'm with people and they're like, oh, but they're meant to give you that. And I'm just like, I'm easy, man. There's no point stressing these people. They're paying me at the end of the day.
Have you had any problems like with people asking requests and then someone gets in the booth or anything, or do you not allow anyone in the booth, or do you have like just close friends?
Depends. Like some places I play at where the booth can create a good vibe, then yeah, I have people in, but it will depend on the vibe and what trying to get out of it. Like, it's hard. In Dubai, you're not allowed no one in the booth. Like, you can only be in the booth if you've got a permit.
Oh, okay.
So that don't happen. But even the DJs that I play with in Dubai, we got Mocky, Vibes and Ace. We create a good vibe in the booth, just us, which people see and it comes across well, and people enjoy it. But yeah, I'm all for people being in the booth, man. As long as they're like not just drunk people that are just gonna fall all over.
Not just putting drink all over the mixer or anything like that. Arfon said, first big festival in what year?
Sorry?
First big festival and what year?
That I played at?
Yeah.
On my own or with Tiny?
I don't know. Maybe both.
First big festival with Tiny, I think, was Radio 1 Weekender. Like, I don't even know where it was, but that would have been the first one. And then on my own, V Festival, I think, was the first one I played on my own. And then I've had a few, like We Are Festival I played. Obviously Wireless, which to me is definitely another highlight, because the whole wireless thing with the DJing in between, it just came from my idea that I put to the head of Wireless, basically. Like, there was no festivals in the UK that were doing it. And then I was in Australia and it was a big thing in Australia. So like an act would finish and a DJ booth would just come down from the roof a DJ would play in between. They're setting up behind him, and then it goes back up. So I arranged, found the guy's details, got to the head of wireless, pitched in this whole idea, and then literally 4 years in a row, I was doing it.
Can you DJ in Dubai at 18, or do you have to be 21?
No, 21.
21.
Straight up 21, yeah, boy.
Like, they're hardcore out there. They're hardcore.
Well, the drinking age is 21, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can't even just go out in Dubai till you're 21. So they're definitely not going to have you DJing. You have to have a permit. So.
Jason, yeah, Radio 1 Weekender was in
Bangor, yeah.
Bangor,
yeah. We got Jay Knox. Always there.
So
always there.
Yeah, I'm interviewing him tomorrow. So Jay's a calm guy. He's a calm guy.
Yeah, he's a legend, that is.
Definitely. Do you think you're kind of a legend? Like, would you put yourself up there, or do you think you've still got more to achieve? Or
nah, I got loads to achieve, man. Like, I think, I don't know. Nah, I'm not a legend. I'm 32, bro. Legend. Maybe Jay Knox ain't a legend. Legends have got to be old, man, and have done everything in life. I'm not there. No way.
So with the Gumball Rally, right? So would you ever want to do that, like a whole DJ with them? Have you DJed with them before, or have you just kind of just taken part?
I've done two Gumballs.
Yeah.
The first year was with Tiny, and then I DJed at all the venues as well. Second year I did. I think Martin mentioned it earlier, so I did it with him.
Yeah.
And then after that, Martin decided to get rid of me and just put Andy P in. So, yeah, I'd love to get back.
So, Sully Select, what advice do you have for DJ presenter to get onto a mainstream commercial show like yourself? And then there's too long to read, but yeah.
Yeah, I think
keep sending demos.
What I was saying earlier, just make sure you're comfortable with your demo before you send it, because
yeah,
your first demo could be your last demo, and the station definitely listen to them. But if you're gonna keep sending them in, just make sure you've got that one that is the one. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you upload mixes to Mixcloud or anything, or do you just kind of stay away from that? Or
I kind of do it in series. Like I'm not one to just put a sporadic mix out and just do it. Like I did a quarantine mix series where I did 20 days in a row.
Yeah.
Different mix every day, put that out, that stopped. And then I just do it depending on time. Like if I'm going on tour, I can do like a summer series mix that is catered to wherever I am. Like I wouldn't just put random mixes out. And that's kind of how I look at touring as well in my own club bookings. I wouldn't just go and do a random club sometimes. I prefer to build a tour around it.
Yeah. When is Dubai back open? Coming July, hopefully. That's a bit.
Hopefully in July. I need it to open.
See, like UK, they're saying they're gonna restrict it. They're gonna lift the lockdown, but nobody knows. The thing is, I don't want it to be another lockdown in summer, because if they do it now, I feel like there'll be another lockdown.
I just think, like, even if they release a lockdown, it doesn't mean that clubs are going to open. So I just, I don't know. In Dubai, clubs ain't going to open anytime soon, definitely.
Yeah. Would you say that things have happened for you quickly in your career? Was it luck, talent, hard work, or a bit of everything?
I think there's a lot in terms of how kind of my career's kind of gone. Definitely luck plays a part. Hard work is probably the most, and then it's a lot of being in the right place at the right time and who you know as well, which I hate to say, but it is the reality of it.
It's literally, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the main things.
Rusky, will Spotify, Apple Music ever make continuous mix legal for DJs?
I don't know. Like that's a funny one for me. And I know Rusty is kind of passionate on the subject, but I'm not sure it needs to be. Like, I think if you're going to do something like that, and Apple Music and Spotify do it, then there's Mixcloud, then there's SoundCloud. Like, I think you're giving people too many different ways to listen. Do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Say someone like Rusky, who's probably the king on Mixcloud with the numbers he gets. Like,
definitely.
it doesn't necessarily mean that then people are going to go straight over to Spotify. If I don't know if Rusky's saying it in a way to be paid from it or whatever, which I can't see happening.
That I don't.
I'd say just keep it where it needs to be, personally.
The thing is, it's just like there's certain people that want to be going on just their SoundCloud account and just type in that mix and that's it. They've just got it on replay kind of thing instead of going to Mixcloud or whatever. But I think Mixcloud has been a big platform at the moment.
I think this quarantine, this lockdown period is definitely going to make Mixcloud bigger.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think, Rusky's just a bigger platform. It definitely is a bigger platform. But I don't know. If we all move to Spotify and all the DJs are on Spotify, it just makes it more accessible, which is a good thing. But I don't know. I just think like there needs to be one clear platform that is known for it. Like Spotify and Apple Music is known for streaming and listening to music. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Good website to download extended mixes or remix for free, ad free.
I'm not sure for free, but
you can't get. I don't think you can get anything for free.
DJ City's subscription, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's £20 a month. Well, 60 quid you have to pay up front.
Yeah. So DJ City is definitely one of the best ones, and I don't think you're going to get anywhere free. And even to support these artists, man, you gotta pay for that sometimes.
Definitely. So with radio like Capital Extra and One Extra, is there like a set playlist you have to kind of play for the up and coming DJs who are in that radio show, and then you kind of get more freedom when you're like yourself bigger in the radio?
All of the stuff I've done on radio, I've never been playlisted. Like I've never had to play what the station wanted me to play, and I don't think I'd enjoy it if it was that case. Like there's obviously shows where they are playlisted and the presenter's happy with it, but I couldn't be dictated of what to play. I think that would just like I love DJing. It's a passion. It's more than just a job. And if DJ never felt like just a job, I don't think I'd enjoy it as much.
Definitely. Rusky, I feel like people are choosing whether to listen to mixes or be their own kind of DJ with their own playlists or Yeah,
I hear that, but that's what the platform's for.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it probably will happen, but it's just the way they can monetize it and make sure the artists are getting paid. I think that's the only thing. But
how do you build?
I'm a fan of Mixcloud. I've been on Mixcloud since it started.
So when's the next mix for you?
I've got no plans to upload a mix to Mixcloud kind of anytime soon, but there's going to be a YouTube series that I'm going to do of live sets. So literally you can just listen to me DJing for an hour in your living room on your TV. So I'm going to do a couple of those. And I'm streaming live tonight on my Instagram, which will be the first one that will go on YouTube.
How do you build an organic following on Instagram?
I don't know, content, making sure you're just interactive with people.
Yeah, give your followers content. Yeah,
I've never really it's got to be organic. There's so many ways now. I'm hearing you can pay for likes, you can pay for someone said the other day you can even pay for people watching your Instagram live, which is mad, but
no, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah. Like Rusky said this as well. Like it doesn't matter if you got 5 views or 500 or 2,000 or whatever. Like you don't know who's watching, and also like there's no point even paying for that. What's the point in paying for views on Instagram Live?
I'm not gonna lie. Even with my live stream tonight, it's took me a while to say to myself, I'm gonna do this now. But purely in my head, it was a numbers thing. But then I thought it's not a numbers thing because I'm just going to use my Instagram live to record what I want to do on YouTube. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, even when I stream for an hour, I still end up with a good couple thousand or even more people that were locked in, even if they were in for 30 seconds. But and then I was thinking, you got to think people on their phones watching Instagram. Like, who's going to have their phone in their hand for an hour to watch Instagram. I know now they're doing the desktop version where you can watch it, which is better. And I probably wouldn't have done it if that was the case. But even tonight, like I've put a lot into how it's gonna look, and it's not gonna look like other people's streams. Put it that way.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I'm there. I'm there anyway.
It's gonna feel different, and I've been working on it for the last couple of days. So let's just hope it all goes.
Are you streaming that from YouTube as well, or are you just streaming it from Instagram?
No, I'm just streaming on Instagram, but I'm recording on the side for the YouTube, and then that would just go up. Like, see how it goes. Something different. I like to just try new things all the time, man.
What would you say your main genre is to play? Like, some people class themselves as urban DJ or stuff like that. What would you say your main?
Open format, definitely. If I had to choose, if I had the choice of what to play, old school garage.
Yeah.
Even like tonight for the stream, I'm not going to touch anything new. I'm just going to go from old school garage to like funky to big house bits, old school R&B, just completely across the board. And I think it's not a club environment. So you ain't going to get the reaction that you feel like you're going to get from a club. So I'm going in it tonight to play for myself and what I like. So I'm
just kind of also like testing the waters, just see what's happening with the lives and everything.
Yeah, I've done a couple just casually, but tonight I've pushed it, I promoted it. There's 20, 30 people that have been watching this at a time. I'll be happy if that happens tonight on my Instagram. So
that's the thing. Is, you know what? It's crazy to see this, that there's still 20 to 30 people locked in for like a good hour. Like, I would personally, I'd never be doing that. And like some DJs have made me do that. They're like, I'm probably gonna lock in for a while on yours. But like with Rusky, with Silk, like there's so many DJs that have actually started locking in for a good solid hour or 2 hours, and I've never done that before. Like I've always just done like a good 5 minutes swipe off kind of thing.
I think it's a lot of it is also down to what GT does well. It's the community within the chat in the comments. Like there was one night where I was just watching it, listening, but I was finding myself just messaging loads, and that's what kept me there. And it's like, I think obviously I'm on the mic a lot. I'll be on the mic tonight, so I'll be pushing for all of that. And if it's 20 people that are all chatting to each other within it, I'm happy with that.
Definitely. But bro, I'm not gonna take up your time too much because I know you've got to set up and everything. But I appreciate this a lot, and I appreciate your time.
All good, man. Keep doing what you're doing as well, bro.
Yeah, hopefully we can connect after quarantine as well.
Definitely. When you come to Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when I'll come to Dubai, see what booking I get. I was supposed to come for F1 again this year, but obviously that's probably not gonna happen.
Well, they're saying December now, so hopefully.
Maybe. I was DJing for Monster Energy last year, so that's why I was, and then I've got contacts in the exclusive, so that's why I was there. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Just for anyone watching now as well, make sure you check out the podcast that I do, Chat in the Box. Big shout out to my podcaster crew. It's on all platforms, on Mixcloud, Spotify, everywhere.
I appreciate locking in as well. Appreciate everyone locking in. Like, if you want to give me a follow, give me a follow. I've got Nathan Dorr next week. I've got DJ Ironic. I've got a lot of people to interview next week. I've got J Notes tomorrow. So yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. See you.